Hey, my name is Martin Benson, and I work as a branding and marketing consultant for actors. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you receive updates from me each week with my latest tips and tricks. Over the past few weeks, I've been putting out a few videos about the importance of actors and earning more money. Today's video 3. Today we're going to actually be talking about how to find your first paying client if you're starting a freelance business. In last week's video, I talked about the exact step-by-step process that I followed to go from brand new and not having ever taken a single photography class or anything into building a headshot business that's currently ranked #1 in New York and works with over 120 paying clients every single month. Now today, I'm going to go through a very simple process for you to kind of get started with finding your first client. Now, let's talk about numbers. Imagine that you charge $150 and you take photos for people, okay? So let's say that you have 2 clients and you make $300 in a month typically, right? Now $300, maybe it doesn't sound like much, but first off, think of what kind of raise that is. How often do people get a raise of $300 extra a month? That's $3,600 a year. That would be equivalent to an almost $2 an hour raise. And that's just 2 extra clients a month. I mean, if you could do like 4 or 5 clients, that's a lot of money, right? $300 can easily pay all your utility bills in a month. Or if you're like me and you like beer, it's a lot of beer. But yeah, $300, very, very easy to do, especially if you're charging people like $100 or $150 for whatever service you're providing. Now, when I first started out my business, I honestly didn't really know all that much about marketing or anything. I was charging $400 or $500 for wedding videos. And sure, my first month I got 1, but then I got another one the next month. And then a month later, I had 2 people. And then that went from 2 to 3. So I'm in high school and I'm making $500 a month from just working 1 day out of the month on a weekend. And then the following month I'm making $1,000 and I work 2 days. And all of my friends who are making $1,000 are working like 3 days a week at a regular job and they're getting paid hourly. Now, the next year, because that I think was my junior year in high school, and my senior year in high school, again, I primarily only worked over the summer when people did events, but in my senior year of high school, I was making $3,600 a month shooting weddings and events. Just a couple of clients a month. I mean, even if you're just doing that $150 photo shoots, you can easily get to 5 or 6 clients a month. 5 times $150 is $750 extra per month that's coming in. What kind of headshots could you buy every month with $750? Or what kind of acting classes could you take? You know, you'd have a lot of money to really invest or to start building a savings. Like if you can get along with what your current income is, but you're also shooting a couple of things and earning an extra $750 a month, if you put that all into savings, think of how quickly you'll grow that. Again, this is knowing like relatively nothing about marketing and just doing a good job. If you know some of the basics of marketing and you know how to systematize it and you understand certain key elements that are involved in creating a good business that I'm about to outline for you in this video, you could easily take something that's like 4 or 5 clients a month paying you $150 and go up to like 20 or 30 clients a month. That's suddenly like $3,000 a month or more. And that is enough that might take you, sure, 20, 10, maybe 10 or 15 hours a week, which is, 40, 50, 60 hours a month. But with that kind of time and that kind of money, you could easily quit any job and you'd pretty much cover most of your expenses, your basic expenses with $3,000 a month in your acting career at least. So now it's time to talk about how to find your first paying client, okay? So for this example, I would like to use the idea of website design, okay? So let's say that your business idea, let's say that you're good at coding and you've created your own cool actor website and it looks very professional and it's really simple and easy to navigate and all that. And you're like, I know how to make my own actor website, so what if I made actor websites for other people? Let's say that you wanted to charge a dirt cheap rate of $200 per website, okay? A lot of people charge significantly more, like $500, okay? But just $200. How do you find your first paying client? Step one, do the work for free. I know a lot of people, they have it in their mind that like, oh, I shouldn't be working for free, that's bad. But the truth is that to get any sort of experience and really have the right to charge people, you need to work for free first. So go out to your network of actors and email them and say, hey, I want to create 3 websites for free. If you're an actor and you've been looking for a website but haven't wanted to invest the $500 or $1,000 that most people charge for it, email me and I'll put something together for you. Step 2 is to actually do it and do a fantastic job. And then right after you do that work, you're going to ask them to write out a simple testimonial for you. Step 3, you're going to create a very simple, like 1 or 2 page website. Something easy. I mean, obviously, if you're a web designer, then you know how to do this, but there are ways to create simple free websites online. But basically, you're going to create a page where people can learn about your service. You'll put those testimonials there. You'll put what your package offering is. Ideally, you would want to put or include some sort of sample of your service so people could get an idea of what it looks like to work with you. Maybe a little bit of a bio about who you are, and then of course a way for people to get in touch with you. Just some sort of thing that you can send a link out to people so that they can see what it is that you offer and make a decision on whether they want to work with you. Step 4 is to go back out to your network now that you've got some success under your belt and you've created a page and you want to offer something to people that's free but trial-based in a sense. And that means give people a little taste of what you have to offer for free so that they'll want the paid project. So in the case of a web designer, you're going to simply email out to the people in your group and say, hey, I have been working as a website designer for actors and I'm looking to connect with some new people. Simple, looking to just design a simple 1-page website for you. If you're interested, I would be happy to do that completely for free. And if you like the way that it looks and you want to talk about us working together in a more in-depth project to maybe make a much more complex website or whatever, I'd be happy to talk to you about that. But right now, I'm just looking to design some simple 1-page websites for free for people. And then what do? You keep reaching out to people saying mostly the same thing, maybe tweaking your offer slightly as you go based on feedback until someone says yes. Someone will say yes at some point, and when they do, you do a great job with them on that free little thing, and you ask them, hey, I've designed this 1 page for you. If you want, I'd love to do a full website for you. Would you be interested? Normally my rate is $200 for this, but because I'm still trying to grow my business, I would be happy to offer it to you for just $100. Does that sound like something that you'd like? Chances are they'll say yes. Maybe they'll say no, but again, you're going to keep reaching out to people. And this very simple process of reaching out, active reach out to people that you know, somebody will say yes. And eventually someone who says yes and then pays you, maybe even the people who you did the free website for, but these people will start referring their friends to you. So as you can see, the process is really simple, but most of us overcomplicate it by focusing on things that aren't important yet. And this applies to actors, saying, oh, shoot, I need to create a super fancy, huge reel in order to get an agent, when in fact, you actually don't necessarily, unless your agent is really high end. Or actors thinking, oh, I need to take the latest on-camera acting technique class if I want to book this new job, when in fact, maybe your acting is already good enough. These are called shiny objects, and I'm very much against people getting stuck with shiny object syndrome, where they're constantly looking for the next big thing. Here, what I'm teaching you is a very simple way to get your first paying client and then turn that into more and more paying clients. You don't need business cards. You don't need to go register an LLC. You don't need all of these other complex things. All you literally need is to do some work for free, get some sort of samples of that work, put it in a place where people can see it, and then offer something that's very, very small, a trial-based version of what it is that you actually offer. And then you offer that and tell people when you're gonna do it that if it goes well, you'd like the opportunity to talk to them about how you can help them on a larger scale. It's a very, very simple process, and it works most of the time with pretty much almost every single industry. So cut out all of the other stuff and keep it simple and focused, and you can easily get your first paying client within just a couple of weeks. Now, before I end today's video, I just wanna talk a little bit about selling, just for a minute. A lot of people get nervous when it comes to sending out those cold emails to their friends, being like, I don't wanna feel scammy, I don't wanna be, emailing out and telling people like, oh, buy my website or whatever, because it can definitely feel like you're selling if you don't understand what's actually happening, the actual transaction that's taking place. When someone pays you for something, you're not actually taking something from them. In fact, you should always aim for whatever the value is that you're providing to be worth at least 10 times what they're paying you. So for instance, with me, if someone pays me $300 for a headshot session, my goal should be that that headshot is worth at least $3,000 to them in increased business or money over the course of the next year. Ideally, I like to go for 100x, at least 50 to 100x, and say, well, if someone pays me $300, really, I hope that they will land at least $30,000 worth of work, whether in the form of a new job or something else over the course of the next year, or at least until it's time for them to update their headshot. So if you design an actor website and you charge $200, like in our example, you should be aiming that they make at least $2,000 worth of acting work from that website. So you might want to go a little bit beyond just creating a very simple, basic thing. You might want to have it laid out really well and also give the client a little bit of advice on how to use that website. Because if you think about it, you may have spent years and years learning how to code a website. Now, how much money do you think most people make in an hour? Let's pretend that most people make $25 an hour, right? So if they're paying you $200, that's 8 hours of their time. So they just traded 8 hours of their time to gain 2 or 3 years of knowledge and experience from you. And then that is going to result in them getting at least $2,000 to $20,000 worth of work in the long run. So really, you are not taking from people. Selling is not about taking, it's about solving people's problems and helping them with what they're struggling with. And if you can wrap your mind around the fact that most people out there have problems and many of them don't even know where to go to get those problems solved, if you can be the solution to their problems and really understand deeply what their needs are, you will have a very successful business, and you'll find it to be very natural and easy to go about selling to people. It won't feel salesy or spammy at all. If you have any questions or comments about starting your own business or finding your first paid client, please leave them below. I'm happy. I always try to respond to as many comments as I can personally. And in next week's video, I'm actually going to be going into more detail on what's called imposter syndrome and teaching or showing some really cool techniques that I've learned about how to stop getting in your own way. So be on the lookout for that. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Oh, and one other thing. If you're an actor looking to book more work, you might consider checking out my free mini course called The Practical Performer. In it, I outline basically things that actors pay business of acting coaches thousands of dollars for. You'll learn exactly how to create a brand or how to find your brand. You'll also learn the 7 key ways to find paid acting work. And you'll even learn how to create relationships with casting directors out of nothing, people who you've never met before, in a really simple, authentic way that does not feel spammy or salesy at all. So check out the course. All you have to do is visit martinbenson.com/mini-course. And otherwise, I will see you next week in our next video.